Hello, this is One Mana Left, and we are, what, 5 days, 5 hours into the league, so fairly good progression so far. I've been doing Uber bosses and 17s for about 2 days now. I did my demo video 3 days ago, I think, and I just cracked into 17s. I was looking pretty weak. I am significantly stronger right now. I have 220 million DPS. I am way tankier. My mercenary is like 50 divines. He's invincible, and he has given me a lot of buffs. They did just do a patch where they nerfed mercenaries tankiness, but whatever they did was not enough because I tried earlier to kill my mercenary. I tried as hard as I could. I spent 80 chaos rolling a fortress map, which is a lightning damage boss, and I tried to make him tank as much as possible. I picked the worst mods out of 80 chaos, and I could not kill my merc. That was after the patch. So, I don't know what it looks like on lesser gear, but it seems like it's still fine if you actually gear your merc. I'll go over the merc in a little bit, but I just want to start off with that it's still fine. It's still doing good things. It's still giving me, minus 200 lightning. Although, to be fair, I'm running Purity of Elements now, so I need to fix it. I need a different ring. It's only minus 140 right now, so I'm missing like 30% damage, or 20%, something like that. So if I get a ring fix, because I had to swap auras around, I would be still doing, like, significantly more than this. But I'll just start off with, like, a T17 demo. People like T17s. Maybe I'll get a nice yoke for the, video RNG, but... and I'll talk about, things I've updated, things I've changed. But, yeah, last time I did a 17 Fortress 3 days ago, it was a lot harder. Right now, it is not very hard. These are getting pretty easy. I did 97 to 98 deathless. I say deathless, but you no longer lose XP when you die to Ubers. So I've had a few Uber deaths that I just didn't care to log out, like, screwing up an Uber Maven memory game and just being like, whatever. I actually, yeah, I probably had 5 or 6 deaths, just things like that I would have normally logged, but as far as like an actual XP death, none. 97, 98, doing, a shit ton of Ubers and 17s. I got the 30 Uber achievement like half a day in. I'm probably at like 200 now or something. I haven't done many 17s. I've maybe only done like 30 or 40. But I'm going to start doing more of those. Let's see how good the damage looks. We got a tanky boss here. Fortress boss. How's damage? Let's cloak and see. Alright, that's damage. So like I said, damage is a lot higher now. I have 220 mil DPS. The number's gonna probably keep going up, but I'm gonna start to focus my upgrades now since this character feels pretty invincible onto the Aura Stacker setup. I don't think I need more. I mean, obviously I could do I could reach 1 billion on this character right now with like the Doriani stuff and all that, but it's strong enough for what I'm... Oh, an interrogation, easy. It's strong enough for what I'm currently doing that I'm just going to keep putting more and more currency. I've already started to buy some of the Aura Stacker items. I'm just going to keep putting them into the Aura Stacker gear. I think that's the correct play. And then I'll probably get... I'm 98.1. I'll probably get to 100 as Mjolner. And then switch to the Aura Stacker this weekend after 100 and start trying to do risk mapping on, like, Aura Stacker budget. This character is probably about 150 div between me and the merc. It's probably like 105 for me and like 50 for the div, so like 155. But I mean, I'm feeling spectacular in 17s and Ubers. I've been printing on Ubers. Like I said, I haven't done as many 17s as I've done Ubers probably as far as like percentage of my time doing each. That will change. My philosophy there is that like Ubers aren't scalable, so it makes sense to do as much as you can stomach when your character's weaker. But 17s are scalable, so I might as well wait until I can do, like, really juice 17s. Like, I'm doing a 200 quant 17. Like, that's not very high. That, like, most of my 17s right now are just, like, 200 quant, 200 rarity. And, like, no other, insane strategy. Also, okay, I do this every time. I think my filter hides yoke. Let's make sure I didn't screw that up while I keep talking. I've done this before. I just updated to an uber strict filter because I'm a terrible filter user. And I've had this happen before where Onyx Amulet's hidden. So let's just double check I didn't lose like 10 divines. But yeah, I mean, that map, I don't think my HP went below like 80% a single time. No yoke. But yeah, like I said, I've been doing Ubers mainly. I'll show an Uber Shaper here. I have swapped to Squire. That's part of the increase in damage. I was like 95 mil yesterday. I did a Squire swap. I am using the Aura Reservation Flesh Flame from Guardian. That is not the correct one for Mjolnir. I'm just going to throw that out there. I just threw it on because I was buying Aura Stacker items that I was afraid might go up in price. I don't even think that's the end game Flesh Flame I'm going to use. I think there's a good chance I use the new Jewel and don't use Flesh Flame at all. But I think in like the early to mid game Aura Stacker budget, that will be a good combo. So I just bought it. I figure I can resell it later if I upgrade out of it. But without like 4 good rolled clusters, I might struggle to reserve all the auras. So I'm going to use that as a band-aid and then either get better smalls and drop it or find a way to redirect my stats to where I can still use it and get value out of it, or maybe like find a way to add another aura. But I haven't thought that far ahead yet because it depends on my risk testing, and without actually testing the risk setup, it's not something you can easily just POB. But I did that combo so I could use Wrath and Flesh Stone on life. So effectively all that's gaining me is Flesh and Stone, which is still decent. But the correct thing to do would be to just drop Wrath entirely. And then just use like crit jewels because they're like the same price. If I dropped Wrath, dropped that Flesh Flame, and then spent the same amount of money on a Righteous Providence Flesh Flame, my character right now would have like 60% more damage. So it's a usable combo. I bought it as like a safety buy, but this is not the best combo for Mjolnir. It's probably a solid combo for the Aura Stacker. I guess I'll go over the Merc items in a second. But yeah, Shaper damage should be pretty alright. I mean, he's got the 90 DR at the start, but he still phases pretty much instantly. I'm tanky. I don't need to dodge these guys' beams. They do nothing. I basically just face tank everything. I face tank Shaper slams, balls, beams. It doesn't matter. I'm at 17k ES with Flesh and Stone. I've got some really, really cheesy mercenary tech. I've even got, like, you know, 12k armor, 8k evade. That's not a ton, but it's like a little bit. Like for even T17 mappings, that adds up. It's like whatever, like 60 evade. And whatever, 9k armor with 4 endurance charges it's enough for trash. It's not enough for bosses, but it's enough that I don't just get randomly gimped by like trash hits. It's pretty much like 70-ish DR on trash fizz hits. So I'm feeling pretty tanky. Most of my Mjolnir characters I've played in the past... Oh, I'm in the completely wrong area. I thought I was at the other thing. Most Mjolnir characters I've played in the past haven't really invested much in Chaos Res, but this character does. I've had enough extra stats to go for Chaos Res. So I have 41. I'm using a Watcher's Eye with the Chaos Res, but it's a low roll. It's 35. It could roll up to 50, so I could have like 56 here. But I haven't had Coruscating Death all league. Like for XP at least. Maybe I've been screwing around, but... Yeah. Okay, I was going for the instant gimp, but... I have the weapon swap. Watch this. With Squire, you're able to weapon swap. And just face tank. You can't do that with Prism Guardian because you have auras in your shield, so when you swap, all your auras turn off and it's deadly. But with Squire, since all your shield gems are damage... It enables the weapon swap, so I can, you know, like, look at my ES right now. 17k, 16k mana, 19.3k, 18.3k mana, because I just have, like, a stat stick and a stat stick. And I got extra max res, spell, like, block, all that stuff. So I just have, like, a really tanky shield and a stat stick weapon, and I just use that as my, like, Uber Boss immune phase weapon swap. It's old tech, but good tech. I've done that on every Squire character ever. Most Ubers have immune phases, so if you get to Squire, it's just good free tech to like be able to AFK their immune phases. Do mechanics correctly. You're gonna drop. Oh, no ball. See, beautiful, perfect. I'll show my Merc after this. I'll see if I can get him to tank a beam. See, he's in the beam right now. His HP never moved. This is Uber Shaper Beam. HP does not move. And I got the only drop that is worth nothing, which is gloves. So, the video demo luck did not come through for me on either that fortress. I mean, I got interrogation, but these aren't worth much now. Well, okay, I know a way to make them worth more. Easy corrupt blood. Ha, got him. Alright, so, the Merc right now, I'm still Doriani's. Like I said, I am actually missing, like, 30% damage, because my Purity of the Elements is giving me 60 all-res, which unfortunately affects my Merc. But I need to just get a better ring on him so that he's still negative 200 without. But I'm using Relentless Fury for Call. I have an AoE corrupt because this affects his auras. He has Determ right now. I would like to get a better one that has Determ and Vitality because I have like Determ effect on Belt. I have Influence Anoint on Amulet. Both of these affect his Determ aura, so it's giving me like 8k armor just from that. I have Sapped Ground plus Life Regen on Boots. That's really good. Good armor, 800. Gloves is 1300 armor. Chaos Res, you know. I have Unnerved, but I currently run Awakened Control Destruction, so I don't really need this mod. But I should reroll these a little better, but I'm probably just going to upgrade these gloves and try to get a 20 Life Regen with, like, higher Unnerve and, like, Suppression. But I have Life Regen here. This multiplies everything. He has 2.4k regen, but that doesn't factor in the Life Regen. There's 28 right here. I can actually get up to like 50, which would make his 2.5k regen like 3.7. That doesn't show on sheet. I have 36 recoup on here. And then the funny I have the attack or block while dual wielding. The funny item right here that you can't really get is I had a helmet that just had like 2k armor and like some chaos res. Really good. You can get life regen on helmet. I had an Eldritch Implicit for blocks regen if you hit recently to prevent like Maven healing when I was under geared. But now I have enough damage, it just doesn't matter. Like, the tank is 17 boss. Even if Maven heals it, it just doesn't matter anymore with my 220 mil DPS. But I switched to this item. This is not an advertisement that you should buy this because these don't exist. This is the only one. Like, there's been 2 on the server so far, and the other one had plus res. So it's a strength only malediction helmet, and the AoE affects the auras he has, and I think it also affects the malediction radius, and then also, it's, you know, unwavering stance, life, all that fun stuff. So it's actually like, it's a junk helmet, but it's actually a little bit of utility mods. But the reason this is good is because malediction makes it so all nearby enemies in the radius, and remember, this gets scaled by his AoE I have with the corrupt and the helmet and all that, deal 10% less damage and take 10% increased damage. This is a very good mod that has almost no sources in the game. So, like that Shaper Slam, 10% less damage. Shaper took 10% more damage. It's a decent-sized radius with the scaling. That's my Merc. I have not been able to kill him once yet after chat, no matter how hard I tried in 17 Zerubers, so he's still invincible right now, but like I said, I've spent 50 div on my Merc, so I'm going to spend more. I'm going to get this guy up to like 2 mirrors when I'm doing risk 17s. But crafting-wise, I think the only thing I had as far as crafting for this video would be Hunter Belt. I had a Cyclopean Coil, but I went ahead and did a Hunter Belt. This actually is a pretty sizable upgrade. It gave me like 1,500 mana and energy shield over a perfect 18 Cyclopean. Just the raw attribute, the Abyss Jewel, the raw stat, it gained me like 4k evasion because of the 371 flat with Shaper's Touch and all my int. It was a fat upgrade, so it's a good item. But the way you craft this is pretty simple. You get a Hunter Belt, no, not a Hunter Belt. You get an Uninfluenced Belt, right? Item level 86, because that's Godslayer. Godslayer is the tier 1 strength mod, okay? You can settle and go of the gods for tier 2. Either way is good. But it's only like 5 chaos for an 86 Stygian, so just buy an 86 Stygian that's 5 chaos. You cannot naturally roll int on belts. They can only roll strength as their only attribute. So what you do is you spite essence until you hit strength. You then annul to get an open suffix if it doesn't already have one. And then you make sure you have exactly 2 prefixes. The reason you have to have 2 prefixes is because you need to have full prefixes when you Hunter Slam to guarantee a suffix. So let's say you annul it and it has 2 suffixes, which is strength int, and 1 prefix. What you have to do here is you have to craft a suffix and then slam, so it has 2/2. Then flip the craft to be a prefix and then slam, so it only has an open suffix to try to hit attributes. It's like 2 out of 7 to hit percent attributes. There's equal weight, 500 each for tier 1 and tier 2. The tier 2 is kind of fine. If you hit tier 2, it's like 10%. You can settle on that with attribute quality. You can settle on that, and it's okay. So I call it a 2 out of 7. But, I mean, expect this to take several attempts. It's 1 out of 7-ish. Or maybe it's 7.5, like 13, 14% to hit the tier 1. This is going to end up still being like a 25 divine belt to hit tier 1. Or maybe like 12 to 15 for tier 2. But it is a reasonable upgrade over Cyclopean. You could just use the Cyclopean all the way to Mage Blood. That's fine. I just went for the middle ground upgrade. Because these have decent resale value later. I'll probably get all my money back and just be stronger in the middle. So that's why I went for this. But that's it for my update video. I'm probably done throwing money at the Mjolnir setup. I'm going to focus on upgrades that are for Aura Stacker now, but still keep playing Mjolnir. So it'll probably be like at least 3 more days of Mjolnir. I'm probably going to Mjolnir till 100 until I make more of the Aura Stacker pieces for the swap. And then try to just be 100, maybe even target like that 2 mirror POB roughly, and then go right into risk mapping at 100, and just see if I can make that as broken as I think it's going to be. I think risk mapping can be like 70 div an hour, which is why I'm aiming for that. There's basically no builds in the game that can do it besides Zenith as far as like established builds that can do it. But I'm pretty confident based on my pre-league testing that this build will be able to do risk. But it's going to need, like, the 2 mirror POV at least. But if you're making 70 div an hour, it doesn't really matter. But that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.